So hello and welcome back to my series of podcast style talks. Today I've got David Breaker. He's a life coach and public speaker. He's also an ambassador for Wellness HQ. David helps people regain their focus and through coaching and promoting healthy lifestyle choices. And he's got a lot of personal experience because once upon a time ago, he was an unemployed, overweight, addicted to gamers. Yeah, so over to you, David. It's really welcome to this little podcast thing, whatever I want to call it. And nice to meet you, or nice to see you again, should I say.
Well, yeah, obviously, yeah, nice to see you again, Graham. So thank you. Yeah, so, obviously my name's David Breaker. I like to describe myself as a life coach and weight loss coach, but in many ways, I cover a lot of other areas. So when you look at my story, as you said, 8 years ago, I was a man who was 32 stone. As you can, I got it right. There we go. Yeah,
it's brilliant. It's just an amazing transformation.
But I mean, but again, it's, and I'll cover this more later. But the when I talk about my story, and when I talk about the transformation I've gone through, the key part of it is I got support. So when I was in that position, you know, as you said, I was unemployed. I was stuck at home at my parents. I was spending about 14 hours a day playing a quite well-known game called World of Warcraft. Most people have heard of it. And again, I'm not saying that to beat on World of Warcraft, because there are a lot of people that enjoy that game, but it sort of really took up a huge part of my life. And essentially, I just let myself get to quite a horrible place physically because of my health, but also mentally and emotionally. And I don't hide the fact that at my worst, I was suicidal. I knew exactly how I was going to take my life, because it was one of those very common things that when you see someone that's overweight, the common misassumption is they're quite jolly. And I just certainly, on an external perspective, was the laugh at the party, jokey and all that. But actually, the point is I wasn't. People always ask, like, what started it for me? Well, how did that? What was that single moment that changed it for me? And the change was a long term. It took a long time, and there was loads of steps that went through it. But probably the initial catalyst was a conversation with my GP, where he basically did the usual measurements, just the usual catch up, and he said, "Dave, you're putting on a stone, nearly 2 stone a year.
Wow,
you're 29." And he was quite honest, and he said, "I give you 5, maybe 10 years, and you're going to be dead of a heart attack."
That's scary.
Yeah, it was. It's like a slap in the face.
Yeah.
But and I have had some people say, "Dave, that seems really harsh. You know, the GP shouldn't say that. They should be more understanding." But I think it's what I needed to hear. And I've talked about this before, and I'm open about it. That he initially offered me some help, and I declined it because I wasn't in a great place. But for about 2-3 weeks, I kept having a nightmare where all I saw on I saw this graveyard and a gravestone,
wow,
and all I kept seeing was, it just said David Breaker, and then in the thing, David was here. He played games.
That's just. Well, I don't know what to say to that. I mean, that's just crazy.
Yeah.
So what was the first step? What was the first step from that?
Yeah, the first step. So for that moment, the first step probably was admitting that it was admitting that I had a problem, that I clearly needed help. The first step I took actually to lose weight was something that I didn't stick to, and actually, and this is an interesting thing about the mindset about it. Was my initial mindset was, give me a pill that will help. Yeah. So right. I tried, there's a medication known as Orlistat. It's designed to stop your body from absorbing about 40% of your fat. It's not a very nice medication, and it doesn't really help, because it doesn't fix the mindset and the emotional connection with food. But in the initial days, I wanted a quick fix, because it was, I just wanted the easy route out, which, probably moving forward, I mean, I tried a medication, didn't work. Again, the doctor kept trying to pester me about going to, there's a local service in where I live in Medway called Tipping a Balance. And a very quick explanation is there's, within the weight loss support within public health and the NHS, there is essentially different tiers of service. So you have the tier 2, which is known locally as Healthy Way, which is like a group-based educational thing around healthy eating. I actually now facilitate that for the local council now. But the one that I went to was known as Tipping the Balance, which is tier 3, and it's designed for people of BMI 35 or higher. So clearly, clinically obese, or in the cases as myself, morbidly obese. And when he first offered it to me, I said, no, I don't want it. I'm not going to do it. It's not worth it. And I was very dismissive. But one of the big changes for me was the fact that I tried the medication. I tried to do it on my own, if that makes sense. I tried to eat healthier, but because I hadn't dealt with the emotional side, I didn't get anywhere. So about 6 months after that was when I finally gave in and went to the Tipping the Balance. They give you a one-to-one nurse who basically talks through with you. She supports you with your doing food diaries, so looking at your food emotionally. And I got referred for counselling, group therapy. And by talking more, it opened up a really huge area for me to actually look at my emotional side, and then that's when I started to make progress. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it just makes it was more for you. It's about the mindset first before moving forward.
Absolutely, mindset is everything. I'll give you a perfect example. There has been people that have come to join my service, and when I've had the consultation with them, I've very clearly realised that they're not ready for the change. So I've referred them to someone that can give them that space to talk a bit about it, sort of looking back that way. So it's all about the mindset. It does, I won't lie, it does make me giggle when I hear people go, oh yeah, I need to do the 5K. Yeah, go do the 5K run and I'll lose weight. Not that simple, I'm afraid. So much more complicated than that.
I get the whole idea of calories in, calories out, you lose weight. But unless you're controlling the calories you're putting in through, for whatever means, that lifestyle, then you're going to keep going back and back and back, aren't you?
Absolutely, it is. It is literally a balance of energy in, energy out. If you're eating more food and calories and energy than you need, then you're going to keep put weight on. It's just part and parcel of it, and it's so the weight loss coach program I'm running at the moment. A huge deal that's a huge difference for them is the food diary, because they all have a Google Doc food diary, and because they have to record everything they eat, when they eat it, why they eat it, what they do, all their activity. A lot of them have said straight away they're only in their second, they're a week and a half in, and they're already saying it's just making them realise about what they're doing, and there's a certain degree of accountability, but no, so much more complicated when you look at losing weight. It always is. And it really bugs me when I've heard on more than one occasion people say, oh yeah, look at that fat person, just eat less food. Come on, man. And it's like, you really do not understand that person's position. You are making such a broad, unkind assumption and judgment there without understanding what they're going through. So
no idea what people are going through. I mean, that was my story to a certain extent with, I was 2-3 stone overweight. I then found the help that I had through Strongmen charity. And it was the mindset that was fixed first. It was that, then it became easier. I understood why I was eating too much and all of those things. So yeah, that's absolutely right. From your start of the journey of when you thought, right, that's it, I'm now going to be starting to lose weight, and you went through that program, what was the turning point for moving from that lifestyle into the lifestyle that you are now? So you've become a coach. I mean, how did that happen?
Yeah, it's so actually it kind of, again, it led originally from the group therapy that I got referred to, because there were other people that were on the weight loss journey, and obviously, I full disclosure now, obviously, because I don't hide this from people. The way I lost weight, because I've lost 18 stone. It's not a small amount of weight. It's not small, you can't just wave it off. I lost 5 stone off my own back. That was me just eating healthier, going to the gym twice a week. It was changing the food, and that was about in over a year. And the rest of it was gastric surgery. I don't hide that from people. It was a gastric bypass in 2015, where I then went from 27 to 15. I don't hide that from people because I don't think I should do, because again, it's a tool.
Sure.
If you have, if you need a tool to help, and again, there's people that have had it that have been successful or not. But on that group therapy, I remember the initial conversation with some of them, and they said, "Dave, you're really quite likable and you're quite friendly. You're quite a good listener."
Hmm.
And they went, "Have you ever thought about counselling?" Bear in mind, at this time, I had no work ethic. I still wasn't in that mindset of working and wanting to. I was still stuck on the benefits, and I sat there and went, "Oh, no, I haven't really thought about it." And then I left the meeting, and then the seed sort of got laid there. There
Yeah.
was, and it just, and then literally like 2 months later, I just randomly researched, Googled locally counselling courses, and I found a level 2 in listening skills at my local education. That was a part-time course, once an evening, over 6 months. Got through that. That was that was quite an eye opener for me, because it made me start to really sort of reflect upon myself about, who I was. Because you would do practice counselling sessions per se, where you just develop and using your listening skills. And then the natural route for me was to go on to the level 3 in counselling studies, understand a bit more about the different theories. I came to a route, actually. So I did the level 2, level 3, and I came to a route where it was, right, I want to do a level 4, but I've got 2 options here. One is counselling. I've actually got the option of life coaching. That's a possibility for me. And I sort of looked at different options. Counseling's quite, it helps millions of people. It's a great service, but to get into it takes a lot more time and effort. It's normally 2 years. There's much more money involved. And where the tutor that I was with, she couldn't deliver the level 4, and because her name was Karen Dean, I kind of wanted to stay with her, because she was
Sure.
making a huge impact in my life. So when I looked at the life coach, and I kind of realized, well, actually, I think I want the life coaching, because, well, it kind of leads into what my passion about supporting people with their health, and their weight.
Hmm.
It's very solution focused. It's very forward momentum. It's about assessing your goals. Where do you want to be? This is where I want you. This is where you want to be. Right. Okay. Let's work backwards to work out how to get you there. Because
Sure.
people often start from the beginning. They start from oh, well, I've got to do this, I've got to do that. And they get overwhelmed with it. And they don't get into it.
Hmm.
So for me, that led to there. And then sort of the rest is kind of history. I mean, there's so much, it's such a complicated, there's so many
Oh
things
yeah,
have
no.
happened. Yeah.
I mean, that's a great explanation of just that sort of a very whistle stop tour of how you got into it. I mean, that's amazing. I mean, what's unique about you, do you think, as a life coach? What is it that you obviously you talked about health and weight loss and that, but what's special about you, do you think?
So a big thing that I push with my life coach, because again, life coaching is quite a broad term. It's
Yeah.
an Americanized term. People have heard it much more commonly now. Though I would probably describe my type of coaching is more about purpose. So in many ways, you could argue I'm a purpose coach. And what I mean by that is I like to work with clients so that they're not unhappy, they're not happy, they're just ticking along. They do the Monday. Well, I was going to say they do the Monday to Friday 9 till 5. Maybe not so much at the moment. Well, maybe if they're working from home, but they just do their job, and they they just they don't enjoy their life. They live their life. And for me, because I've been in that position where I had really, in all honesty, I had no purpose. And I am going to say this, and people don't like it when I say it, but I was nobody. I know people don't like it because it's horrible, but I genuinely was nobody, really. Okay. All I did was just spend most of the day playing my games. Okay. Now, obviously I was somebody, and I had family and I had loved ones and stuff, but for me it was about making a bigger impact on the world and bigger impact on other people, and I knew that I wasn't doing that. So now for me, I want to work with people that want to find out bigger picture and realize there's more to life. I'm going to give you a perfect example of this. A client I once worked with, he came to me actually to do with something with his business. He ran a business which designed websites and maintained them. Long story short, he had a business issue that I helped him resolve, and that was in a couple of sessions. And then it came to a point where there was lots of things, hints and language he was using that hinted that there were other issues within his personal life that he was starting to open up with a bit, but still keep it a little bit in. So I used I said something to him which sounds really horrible, but it was actually a really important line for me to say. So I just sat there in the first session and went, "Who are you without your business?"
Wow.
And he honestly, and this he was a very confident man. He was a great, his business was really doing very well. And he literally just sat there and he just sort of looked at me for like 2 minutes, just stunned. And then he finally spoke and he went, "I don't know."
Mm.
And that's the type of people, and actually 3 sessions later, by sitting down with him, talking through it, working it out, we worked out that, and I know you'll connect with this, he's had his issues with his own mental health, and he really wanted to get in. He knew of a charity, but didn't get involved very much and was thinking about it. By the end of the sessions with me, he actually by the end, he was actually becoming a trustee
That's
and
just
getting involved
amazing.
with them.
Yeah,
So,
I
yeah,
definitely resonates with me. Yeah,
yeah, absolutely. That's a big
that's
thing for me.
amazing. What's it like being? We'll talk about sort of lockdown in a bit and the virus and stuff. But what's the last sort of year or 6 months been for you?
I mean, I keep myself quite busy. I won't lie. People know that I'm a plate spinner by trade. My last 12 months really has been a big shift. Has been moving my coaching more towards weight loss coaching. I've even so obviously I already run courses for Medway Council locally. That is free for people. It's free for public, but it's educating people about healthy eating, and it sort of led into what I was passionate about. So in the last 3 months, essentially, I've committed to doing a level 4 diploma in nutrition and weight management. It is quite interesting because a lot of the stuff I already know. I won't lie, because obviously I already teach it, but it's really giving me a much more evidence based sort of information is looking at it's led me to developing a weight loss coaching program online, again moving it online for obvious reasons, as you can imagine. Another thing that I do that I don't not everyone knows about this, but I also work for a non-profit organization called BMix, which is separate from my business, but I work for them because I believe in what they do. And essentially, as a CIC, we support young adults with autism and or learning difficulties to get
Oh, right.
to make them feel like they belong in the world, because they should do. And one of the things we work around is a supported internship program where we get them into work placements in local businesses and companies where they develop their skills and hopefully get a job at the end. That's what we aim for.
Mm.
But that's taken up a lot of my time. And again, this leads back to what we were discussing before. So some people said to me, "Dave, but your business is your life coach and you should promote that. You should talk about that, focus about that." But actually, I work for BMITS because it ties in with my purpose,
Mm.
because I'm making an impact. These people with autism and I'm dyslexic myself. I have my own challenges. It leads into my purpose of supporting these people to have a space in the world that actually they are valuable. They have so much to offer. So again, it leads into this idea for me that actually find your why. And I know that you like to say with your story, with everything about promoting, and you're absolutely right. Find your why. It's got to be such a key story of who you are, why you do what you do, and it just makes a big impact for you to make leeway with your business, but actually live and enjoy it and do
Yeah.
it. So yeah, but pretty much that's a quick snap. So, the weight loss coaching is pretty much, I'd say, the big thing that I'm moving towards now, that I've been working very, very hard on.
Good. Well, leading straight onto that then. So what's the how has the program? You've started the program now. How is it all sort of panning out?
It's going really well. So I've got the first cohort in now. It's an 8-week program where, and I know a lot of people will giggle at this, but they have, for 8 weeks, they have a Google Docs food diary. So for 8 weeks, I need to record all their food. And I know for a lot of people, there might be people listening going, "Dave, I will not." It's a lot of work. But it is. And let's be honest, but this is again, I'm upfront with all the people that join a program that actually losing weight is hard. It's always going to be hard, and it has to be hard. If I could wave a magic wand, it doesn't mean anything. even my gastric surgery that I went through, and again, I have had people openly say, "Oh, well, you didn't do it the natural way," or
Yeah.
you don't understand, it was a wave of magic wand. But there are numerous people that have gastric surgery that have either not lost weight or very quickly put it back on. I'm 5 years post-op. Okay. I've done the food diaries. I've done the calorie counting. There's an app called MyFitnessPal, which you can count all your calories. I've done that. Literally everything, including the dust. But a lot of them, they're already a week and a half in. A lot of them have lost some of them have lost only a pound, which is amazing, and that's what I'm aiming for. I don't look for more than a pound generally.
Yeah.
Some of them have lost 5 pound. They've done really, really well, bless them. And I'm already like, we need to look at that. That's a lot to lose. And it does make me giggle when, in a way, because you go to these people and say, "Oh, you've lost a lot in a short time." I think we need to slow. That's a bit much, and I always feel quite bad in a way because it's like they're really keen. It's like great, but we've got to have the balance. So that's been going really, really well, and they get one-to-one coaching with me once a week. I analyze their food diary. I give them sort of tips and changes, and give them tips on changing certain food groups, swaps over certain things. They also get a group, sort of group, or all 5 of us, because again, it's really important to me that there's that group community. And as you notice, and this leads on to one of the big things that I work with now is the Wellness HQ, my online networking that I do. And again, that's a website and directory which is all about supporting wellness professionals. And our weekly networking has been amazing, even when it got Zoom bombed this week.
Yes, it did.
Which was quite funny.
But it was handled very well.
Yeah, well, inside I was probably screaming, but on the outside I was like, "Oh, cool and calm," and like I don't prove it. Yeah, but no, it's a big thing for me. With all what I do, is about the community. It's all about supporting each other, and in many ways that's like business. Business is all about supporting each other. You will work with people that support you, that say, that they give you the high five, they promote you, they open, and say how great you are. But that happens by building the relationship. And I'm sure we've all been there, certainly on LinkedIn, when we get that cold call message from someone. Hi, I'm going to say, do you know what, actually, do you know what I had the other day, Graham? It's really made me giggle. I had, he was a 20-year-old lad, bless him. He seemed really nice, connected with me. He was a quantum growth coach. And I thought, okay, let's give it a go. And literally within 10 minutes of him connecting with me, there was a message going, "Hi, Dave. Do you want to take your quantum growth leap to setting your goals and achieving your personal development dreams?" And I'm like, "Sorry, mate, if you not, I mean, I'm not perfect. I don't know everything. Obviously, I can't, And again, I have coaches and people that I go to for support, but he didn't look at. There was no relationship there. There was no getting to know me. And if he'd put any effort into reading my profile,
Yeah, sell. It doesn't work. As you say, building that community, building those relationships. I mean, that's kind of how I got to know you, was through networking and building the community. I found that your ethos was very much on the same page, and that's why I wanted to. We're now friends, although we've never. Well, we have actually met.
We met. You came to you
face to face. Talking of which, how has the whole lockdown and virus? How have you leveraged that with your work?
Yeah, so firstly from the Wellness HQ side, because I was running in-person events once a month. In actual fact, March was when I was going to be doing, because it normally is an evening one, I was going to be moving it to a coffee morning version. Mm-hmm. That was all getting booked up. That was literally, I think, 3 days before the pandemic happened. That was all going to get promoted and all pushed out there. But that all just went down the Swanee. But that's fine. What I've done is I've shifted that online. And again, coming from the ethos that we have, I don't charge for it. Okay, it's free. Now, it's not always, obviously, I'm not going to do it free forever. I can't keep doing it for free forever. It takes, every week, it takes up a lot of my time. Same as what you're doing. It takes up time. But again, for me, it's building that community. So that was a big, important thing for me to actually get that shifted there. And then the other thing that so originally with the work and the planning that I was doing, I was going to be setting up my weight loss coaching program as a one-to-one, or not a one-to-one, but a group sort of a meeting in person thing. But essentially now I'm like, no, my first priority has got to be get it all online. And I think that's for everyone. I think it's awkward, certainly, for example, as we know with you, there's no way you can do it online. There's things you can maybe teach. You could teach people about stuff through Zoom. Just, I've got to take a photo. It's not, it can't, but.
There's certain things I can do, but there's a lot of things I can't do. It's not what I started out in business for, but I have to leverage those things to online like everybody else. It's tough. You know, I want to be out there taking pictures. That's what I love doing.
Yeah, absolutely. But then, and again, what you have been doing, and this again leads back to the community idea, is people again will come to the person they know, and they'll come to the person that is putting the effort in. And it's quite interesting how, from a business perspective, actually, by shifting up and changing the way we deliver and actually not looking at the sell. And don't get me wrong, there was some said the other day, we shouldn't be selling at all during COVID-19. No, that's ridiculous. Of course you can sell. Of course you can sell. Still sell. Another thing that me and the partner get involved in, we sell on Amazon. We have been for the last 3 years. It's been a big thing that we're working on. In fact, that's what has taken up a big part of our time. So we're still selling. And again, that's more about a passive income, isn't it? And that's It's important that we continue to sell, but I think it's the way you do it. And at the end of the day, if you and again, this is just common business sense. You need to lead it with a solid offer. You need to make it relevant to them, or again, always leverage what's in it for them. And if what you're selling is no good, and you're still trying to sell it, then obviously that's when it's not worth selling.
Yeah, it's very much the same ethos. The whole building relationships, and it's almost to the point where you don't actually have to sell because people will come to you anyway because they see the value that you're adding. And I think that's kind of what you do with your networking groups. I like to think I'm doing it. I'm trying. It's not my motivation. My motivation is not to sell to people that I connect with, but it's building those relationships and seeing how we can work together. The whole thing about supporting each other is so important, certainly in my mind, and happily to yours as well.
Absolutely, and it is about support, and it is such a huge key thing. And again, it is being mindful that you have a service to offer. I could take photos. Of course I could. I could get my phone out and take a photo. Are they going to look as good as the ones you do? Probably not, no. And again, I think actually, it's about the fact that in the long run, it's having that relationship, but, it means that people are going to trust you more. And I think certainly in business, trust is a huge thing, really.
It's amazing that, just very quickly going back, what was the time scale from the two pictures that are sitting up behind you, the 32 stone overweight man to the life coach? What's the time scales in between?
So I had the wake up call when I was 29. The gastric surgery was in 2015, so that's 5 years ago. My business has been going for about 3 years now. I'd probably say a good 5, maybe 5, 6 years, roughly. Maybe about 5. No, less than that, actually. Okay, about 5 years. So the surgery was in 5 years ago. So yeah, about 5 years difference. But again, this is the interesting thing, actually. The first 2 years, I wasn't doing the life. I was learning about the counselling, but and building my skills up, and I was trying to get back into work ethic and back into work and that sort of mindset. Because when you look at a work ethic thing, if you've been unemployed for more than a year, you don't have a work ethic. And I don't mean that to be judgmental. I just know it from my own past. Mm-hmm. If you've been out of work for more than a year, your work ethic is no longer there. And it's not because I'm being horrible. It's just because you haven't been doing it, and you get stuck into these routines. Like there was a period about 3 years ago, so early in my life coaching, when I was doing the diploma, I actually worked for a company called Go Train as a tutor, and they support people that are unemployed, and to sort of get back into work. And I found so many, like I'd ask them, what day of the week is it? And I'm sure we all connect with that right now, the lockdown with COVID-19.
We're all like that at the moment.
Yeah. What day is it? But for a lot of these unemployed people, because they haven't got a proper routine, because they literally they've lost all that work ethic. They don't see the pattern of days. They don't see the difference between a weekend and a working week. And a lot of it's not their fault. They've got into numerous positions like that, and it's trying to support them into it. But a big thing for me was rebuilding my work ethic. And to be honest, that's really only been in the last 3 years that honestly, if you met me about even 5 years ago, I would have been a different man. 10 years ago, totally different, Graham. Absolutely different. Such a different man. Kind of weird in a way.
Well, it's just amazing the transformation, and big shout out to that GP that day that sort of basically had to go at you to
Yeah.
say, sort your life out or you're going to die. What's simpler than that?
Yeah.
Okay. A lot of people might find that a bit harsh, but as you said yourself, it's what you needed to hear, and it was at the right time for you to hear it. I think that's an important lesson there.
Yeah, absolutely, Graham. And I think that's a big thing. Again, to sort of shift it from a business perspective, is people often think, oh, I've got this idea, I've got this business, I want to support people, I want to help you, and certainly wellness professionals, but they often have got to. So I've had to think a bit more about the fact of it isn't just about me talking about what I do. It's about the fact that people are ready to hear the message. That's why I openly talk about my story so much, because it's about inspiring people that actually, do you know what, life can be hard. Things go wrong. You, of all people, you get, yeah, you know this. And we can't get away from that. We can't say that no one's had a perfect life. No one has a perfect life. Okay, things go wrong, but it's being in that position to hear at that moment what you need to hear to make that change. And at that moment, what I needed was that GP to say to me, Dave, you're going to die.
Yeah.
So sometimes you just need to hear it.
Sometimes the point is what you need to hear. Apart from the GP that effectively, arguably, saved your life.
Yeah.
Has there been anybody else along your journey that's inspired you or helped you to get where you are? Is there anybody else in particular that's really worth a mention?
So there's two sort of big people that sort of stand out for me. First off is my partner, Richard. He has made a huge change to my life because he's a business owner and he's been self-employed for many years. And again, he has his own journey. You've met Richard,
yeah.
And he has his own journey that he's gone through, a very challenging physically and emotionally, mentally journey. And meeting him really made quite a big impact on me because when I first met him 3 years ago, again, I was in this position of I still didn't know if I wanted to work or not. He's really helped build something for me, a future for something that I want to work towards, hard towards. And for lack of a better term, he's domesticated me. It's the best way to put it. Because I wasn't domesticated. I didn't cook, I didn't bake. Honestly, it sounds silly, but yeah, I just honestly, when that man there, I barely knew how to cook. I even burnt salad once. So not there, but Richard has really helped inspire me a lot, especially because of what he's been through and how he despite that, working together, we've built a business. He's in even further, and that really helps. Another person, I know she'll be a bit embarrassed for me to say, actually is a lady by the name of Kaz Macklin. So Kaz is a representative of the Kent Invicta Chamber of Commerce. I've known her for a couple of years now. But Kaz, I've learned a lot from Kaz because she's a very knowledgeable, experienced lady. And a lot of my networking and a lot of my sort of building my connections with people has come from Kaz because she is exceptionally, the way I would describe her is an exceptionally powerful and fierce lady. And what I mean by that is she knows exactly what she wants and she will get it. And she's in all that sort of fierceness and that power. She's absolutely wonderful. She's so caring. She genuinely cares about building connections with people, supporting people. And she always goes above and beyond what she does. Absolutely. So a huge shout out to Kaz. Probably the final person, very briefly, is my tutor, Karen Dean, that I went for my counselling and life coaching. Karen left quite a sort of strong impression on me. And actually our final day of our life coach diploma that we did, which was just a huge thing. I'm talking like 200 to nearly 300 hours when you add up all the coaching sessions. She was quite honest with me, and we were reflecting, finishing the journey, and she got a bit tearful because she was very honest. And she said, to be honest, Dave, when I first met you, from the level 2. This is like, before the level 3 and level 4. So I'll be honest with you, if there was one person that I didn't think that would get through the course and that would learn and develop their skills, I'm going to be honest with you, it was you. Genuinely didn't think you would do it. She said, but she said, I'm going to say this now, Dave. I have never been so happy in my life to be so goddamn wrong. And she got quite tearful because she said, you've changed so much and you've grown so much as a person. She said, I'm so happy I was so wrong about you. So wrong. And she really taught me a lot about life. And she's, again, it's that kind of, there was times when she was harsh. I mean, really sort of, she pushed me really hard. But it's what I needed.
Yeah.
And I was so grateful for Karen. Really, really grateful to Karen for everything she's done. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll appreciate, or maybe be embarrassed, but I'm sure they deep down they appreciate your little shout outs there.
Yeah, hopefully.
That's fantastic. Just sort of coming to an end as such. During the lockdown, people have struggled. What would your thing you could say, one top tip you could give away today to anybody listening to this to sort of approach the situation we're in at the moment?
So the biggest tip I'd say is to be kind to yourself. So there's a lot of pressure at the moment, whether you're self-employed or whether you're a furloughed worker from a PAYE role, that it's about using that time effectively. I'm not going to say if you have got a lot of time and there isn't much, you are getting bored and then leading to maybe negative habits like overeating. Maybe then you could find something to do with yourself. Whether it's training, whether it's courses, whether it's learning all these bits. But actually, before you even get to that position, you really just want to be with the moment, how it's feel. I mean, because we're near possibly near the end of the lockdown now. Things might start to. I want to say the word go back to normal, but I don't think that even makes sense as a sentence anymore, to be honest.
The new normal.
Yeah, the new norm. Absolutely. Is again to be really mindful of how this whole situation makes you feel. So it might be that you're not comfortable to go back out again, but there might be a bit of pressure to do it. Certainly, either whether it's your work's telling you to get back into it, or as a self-employed person, you want to get back out and start. For you need to get out there, start doing your work again. But take that moment to be mindful of how you feel about it. Do you feel safe? Do you feel comfortable? Do you need to ease yourself back in? And it's taking those sort of small, mindful steps about how you feel. And I'll give you a really good example of this, actually. There's a friend of mine who's an artist. He has been furloughed because he's a chef, but he's an amazing artist. His talent is just unbound. And we was talking a couple of weeks ago that he actually got really upset because he was struggling to get the creativity juices flowing, and he was getting really upset and he was getting really emotional about it. And then he was beating himself up because he was getting emotional about the fact that he couldn't be creative. He said, but David, people are dying, Dave. People in worse positions than me. I'm still getting 80% of my pay. I'm still, do you know what I mean? I'm safe at home. Do you know what I mean? There are people out there dying. And all I said to him, I said, okay, yes, people are dying, but how are your feelings and how this situation is making you feel any less important, valuable, necessary? You know what I mean? It's all about reflecting on how it makes you feel. Now, I've kept myself busy during the lockdown, and probably I'm busier in many ways than I was before, but that's my choice. I've reflected upon that. I like to keep busy, but really reflect on how you want to deal with it. Really take that moment to assess what is best for me. That's what I'd say to people.
Yeah. Can't really say much more to that one. It's so true, though. It really is.
Yeah. People don't do it. People aren't mindful sometimes how they feel and what works for them.
No.
And it is just being mindful of what works for you. So again, this leads to an open subject about work-life balance. If you like working and you're happy working loads of hours, as long as you're doing it safe and getting a break every now and then it's fine. But some people don't realise sometimes that the pressure of you must achieve a work-life balance actually is probably causing them more stress, maybe, then it isn't the other way around. And the only way you're going to know that is if you reflect about how it makes you feel. Are you safe working these many hours? Are you comfortable? Is it because you're working really hard towards building a business?
Yeah.
You know
Is it
this.
making you happy?
Yeah. Absolutely. If my coaching that I do with my clients, the one-to-one with the weight loss coaching that I do, it's normally done in the evening. I don't see it as work. I love it. I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
Now, do you know what I mean? It's all just being mindful of what works for you. And if you're happy, and again, if you feel happy and you're making progress, because that's a big human thing. Most people generally like to see progress. We're box tickers, generally most people. Then no, just it works for you. It's got to be about what works for you. Absolutely, absolutely.
Well, thanks for that, David. Just to kind of wrap up then, because it's actually been really, really good. Where will people find you? Where's the best place for people to connect with you if they want to find out more about your coaching or your weight loss programs and things like that? Where can I send people to?
Yeah, so the best place is either the website or my LinkedIn profile. I'm pretty busy on LinkedIn, as people know. So you can search Breakthrough Life Coaching. The website is breakthrough lifecoaching.life. I got the .life rather than the .co.uk and stuff. But again, search David Breaker, Breakthrough Life Coaching. You'll find me, or you can always email it's contact breakthroughlifecoaching.life, but it is a very long email.
That's fine. Brilliant. Thanks for that, David. What I'll do is I'll get the links off of you and I'll add them to the video and wherever else it goes anyway, just to make sure that people can find you and stuff. So all I could say to you really is just brilliant. I mean, when I first met you at a networking event, I was inspired by your story. It was such a transformation, and I love that whole thing. It's something that I've taken on board with my own life, and I transformed, and working with the charity and being helpful and stuff. So really, and I know you're very busy, so I'm really, really grateful that you sort of gave up a bit of time this afternoon to come and have a chat with me. It's been absolutely great, and I'm so grateful for it. So I'm just take care, and I hope to see you again soon. That's
well, absolutely, and thank you for getting this all set up and doing this. And again, this isn't just from me; it's from all the people that you're doing this for to actually promote. And it's really good of you to do it. Really, thank you so much.
It's. I have a saying at the moment. It's called "The rising tide lifts all the boats in the harbour," and I just like to try and help with that rising tide, and that's the way I see it. If I help with that, we all come out of this, as winners.
Yeah, absolutely, stronger together.
Absolutely.
Always.
Thanks ever so much.
All right, cheers, Graham.
Thank you.